Hello and welcome to the Harlem Baseball 2023 season. This is our preseason video that will go over the tryouts and how the season will go. So this is for anybody trying out for Harlem Baseball. My name is Coach Scott McCloy. I'm the head baseball coach here at Harlem High School in charge of the program. Let's get started. Of our philosophy is right here: person, student, player. We are coaching and being mentors for your son. We are coaching the person first. Uh, the odds aren't great that these guys become Major League Baseball players. So we want to make sure they're good, upstanding citizens when they leave, that they're going to be good fathers, good husbands, and so forth. So we're always trying to coach the person as they reach that maturation process through high school. We can do that through baseball. We're also obviously they're student athletes first, so we're coaching the student, making sure their grades are good, making sure they're on track to graduate and ready to go for whatever they want to do after high school, whether that be in college, job, or the military. And finally, we're obviously going to coach the player. They are baseball players, but we care about the person first, student, and the player. So that is our philosophy. Our coaching staff, again, my name is Scott McCloy. This is my 14th year at Harlem, 7th as head coach. My assistant is Chris Burns. The head JV is Jason Dolly, and our head freshman coach is new this year. Our fresh soft coach is Alex Lawrence. You can find myself, Coach Burns, and Dolly in the high school PE department, and Coach Lawrence is the middle school special ed teacher. We also have volunteers that will come and help us out at multiple levels. That is Chance Elmer and Noah White. They are graduates of Harlem High School and played baseball for us, and so did Burns and Dolly. They are graduates of Harlem High School and played baseball for us. Our end goal is to be at Silver Cross Field. That is where the state championship is on June 10th and 11th. So, we focus on that. Obviously, we have other goals, but the main goal always is to be the last one remaining and playing at Joliet Silver Cross Field. Let's go over tryouts, which start Monday, February 27th. The last 2 to 3 days, usually 3 days. We start on Monday and Tuesday at 6 a.m. to 8:15 a.m. The reason we do this is for gym space. In the mornings, we can have the main gym as well as the field house. It's much easier for us to run tryouts through. After school or at night, we only have the main gym. So trying to run 55, 60 kids through a main gym is tough. So we've had the tradition of going at 6 to 8:15. That is when tryouts will start. The doors will open up at 5:30. We highly suggest kids get here early. So when we start at 6, they are ready to go. So the first 2 days will be the morning. They can put their bags in our front athletic closet or in Mr. Dolly's office in the PE locker room for throughout the day. And our third day of tryouts will be right after school on Wednesday, March 1st, from 3:45 to 6 o'clock. At that point, players will know if they've made the team or not. The process for how we do cuts is we meet with each player individually. Both those that make it and don't. We feel this is the best so we can let the player know what they are expected to do that season or what they can work on to get better for the next year. Our first practice will be the next day, Thursday, March 2nd from 6 to 8 p.m. We will be giving out our fundraising and hats and getting the season started. It is one of the last practices where we'll be together. And then a fun thing we do on Friday, March 3rd, is what we call the Road to Joliet Challenge. They'll stay here from after school to roughly 8 o'clock, where we'll do many activities and competitions, which include weightlifting competitions, home run derbies, dizzy bat races, trivia contests, dodgeball, taco eating contests, fun stuff like that, where we divide the whole program up into teams. Each team has a freshman through sophomore on it. It's basically our last day as a program to be together. After that, we kind of break off into levels. It's a lot of fun. Winning team gets a cool dry fit shirt with champions on it. It's one of our most fun activities of the year. And then we provide pizza that night, pizza and drinks. So it's a good time. And then that first Saturday, we'll practice 10 to 12. So that is our first week of tryouts and practice. Our tryout criteria. First, you're going to be judged on or looked at for your grades. Your student athletes with an emphasis on student. So you must be eligible as of 2/27. So that's that Monday, passing 5 out of 7 classes if you are a freshman through junior. If you are a senior who only has 5 classes due to early out or late arrival, you must be passing all 5 of your classes. There's no exceptions to this, so make sure your grades are good. We've been telling kids since beginning of the year in January, so make sure grades are up. Attitude. Attitude is a reflection of character. How do you behave off the field? We look at discipline. We talk to teachers. We want athletes who will represent Harlem baseball well on and off the field. And finally, we're going to grade you on your talent. Players will be assessed on throwing, fielding, hitting, as well as their knowledge of game situations. So we will be obviously looking at their baseball skills, but those are the three things we're looking for. How good are your grades? What's your attitude? And what kind of talent do you have? Attire for tryouts and practice. Pants. We wear pants anytime we are outside. Anytime we get outside, we're going to wear pants. We do allow shorts in the indoor practices, and for tryouts, our tryouts will be indoors. Once we get outside, players are required to wear long sleeves until it's 60 or above just to keep our arm loose. The biggest thing is players need to be prepared for every day for both inside and outside. This is when you really get towards practices starting. We're really weather dependent here in Northern Illinois, so there might be a day where we think we're going to be outside. We need to be prepared for inside, meaning they need to have tennis shoes and vice versa. If we're planned on being inside and all of a sudden the weather changes and it's beautiful, we can get outside, they got to have their cleats. So be prepared for both. They also need to bring a glove and a bat if they have one for tryouts. We do require for the tryouts that each level wears a different color shirt. Freshmen wear white, sophomores black, juniors gray, and seniors orange. This is just easier for us to identify what level they are in school for tryouts. Once tryouts are over and we start practice, these are the only 4 colors we allow for them to wear to practice. We don't want anybody wearing a blue or yellow or red shirt to practice. We want to be showing Harlem colors. So these are the 4 colors that we allow. There are 3 levels at Harlem High School. Varsity is freshmen through seniors that can play varsity. Our JV team is freshmen through juniors that can play JV. And we have a fresh soft team, so freshmen and sophomores can play. So when we decide on the rosters, we are looking at this. If a freshman is good enough to make varsity, they'll make it. We have some freshmen and sophomores on the fresh soft team. Freshmen can play JV, and so can juniors. So those are our 3 levels of baseball at Harlem. Commitment. Baseball is 6 days a week till the end of school. May 19th is our last conference game, so the lower levels will end on May 19th. But the state tournament starts the following week for varsity. Our regional championship is the day of graduation, so if you are a parent of a senior, please be aware that we plan on playing in the regional championship on that Saturday. Graduation's at 10 o'clock. Our game is usually between 1 and 3, so try not to plan any graduation parties until after that time so we can play our regional championship game. Spring break. When you play baseball in high school, you really don't have a spring break. We practice or play every day but one. We'll give kids each level 1 day off, and that'll be depending on when we have games. Right now, there are at least 7 games scheduled for spring break, I believe. So we will try to find a day in there to give your kid off. But you're not guaranteed because there could be a rain out and we're pushing games around. But our rule is if you go on spring break, if you're going on vacation for a week and you miss 7 games, you're going to miss 7 when you get back. It's unfair for kids who have been here giving up their spring break to not be able to play. So if you want to play Harlem baseball, I would not plan trips in spring. It's the same for coaches. We can't go anywhere either with our families. If you miss a practice or a game in the regular season and it's unexcused, meaning you just missed practice because you just forgot about it, or we've had somebody miss practice for a haircut, that's unexcused. If you miss a practice or a game, you're going to sit a game. Now, obviously, things come up. If you're sick, that's obviously okay. If there's a family emergency, please just have the player talk to the coach. Case-by-case basis, we'll take care of that. ISS or OSS, so if your student gets in trouble, if they have 1 day of ISS, they will be suspended for a game, 2 days, 2 games, and so forth. Communication is key at the high school level. We want your players and sons to be advocates for themselves. We want to hear from them if they're going to miss. They will contact their coach. The fresh, soft, and JV teams use apps like Remind. I myself at the varsity level use text, so players will have my phone number to get a hold of me anytime they need. Again, we're trying to help these young men grow into adults, and it's really good for them to communicate with other adults about why they're missing or what's going to happen. So please have your son contact the coach if they are going to miss anything. Practice. We practice 6 days a week. We hope to be outside as soon as possible. The snow is already melting. But again, we emphasize players should be prepared for inside and outside every day. If we are inside, here's what the inside schedule looks like so you can plan ahead. On Mondays and Wednesdays, baseball has the main gym from 3:45 to 6. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have at 6 to 8 p.m. And Fridays and Saturdays alternate with softball. Again, we share the main gym with softball. So that first Friday, we are technically have the gym 6 to 8. So the second Friday, we'd have 4 to 6. And it just keeps switching and forth like that till we get outside. If we are outdoor practice, we are immediately after school out on the field till 6. Sometimes it's earlier, sometimes it's later. Your coach will let your son know what time practice is. If your son makes varsity, we do have morning practices because, again, having 3 levels practice in the main gym at one time is tough. So if it's Tuesdays and Thursdays and we're in the main gym, varsity will probably go in the morning so the JV and freshmen can have the gym to themselves. And then Bison facility is also used for us at the varsity level. We usually have 2 to 3 practices there a year, depending on weather. Eligibility. If a student has a D or F on weekly eligibility report, they will have to attend mandatory Friday morning study hall. If they are ineligible, if they have 3 Fs or more, they are ineligible for that week. They miss a whole week of games. If you fall on the ineligibility report 3 times, it's a dismissal from the team. That is an athletic policy, so making sure you're keeping your grades up. Make sure your sons are advocates for your grades. Ask teacher about makeups. If your student needs to do a makeup after school, whether a test or just meet with them, they will not be punished. Again, it's school first. We just only ask that your son communicates with their head coach. Let them know, hey, coach, I'm going to be a little late to practice. I'm going to miss out. Now, if it's a game day, you need to plan ahead and do it the day before a game, make it up a test. Try not to make up tests on game days because we leave early, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Buses. Every away game, we leave school early. So you'll miss part of 7th period for every away game. All players will ride the bus to every game as a team. Usually it's freshmen and JV riding together. On the way home, your parents may sign you out, and so that the bus is not as full. So if you go to the game and you want to sign out your son, you can. You can only sign out your son. At the varsity level, we will ride to and from all games together. Since we're only one level, we will stay on the bus together. I think that's better for the varsity level. Now, if any situation comes up where there's an emergency and you need to go somewhere, that's fine. We'll have you sign out. A bus leaves school early every day for away games. We talked about that. On Saturdays and spring break, students must be on time for bus departure. We will not wait for players. If we have to leave at 8:30 to get an hour and a half down the road, we do not want to be late. And kids will be given early outs for 7th period. What that means is if our bus leaves at 3:10 to go to Boylan, they will get out of their class at 3 o'clock and be on the bus at 3:10 to head to Boylan. We have to leave early every day because if we do not beat out the buses leaving after school, we will be stuck in the parking lot. So even the local games like Hononegah and Boylan, we will leave 3:10, 3:15, somewhere around there. Big one, playing time. Baseball is a cut sport and playing time is not guaranteed. It's just the way it is, lower levels. Each coach will do everything they can to balance development and winning games. Now, at the lower levels, we are out more about development than winning, but we still want to win. It is a game. At the varsity level, we are going to put out the lineup that we think will get the win that day. Our lineups change often. It's determined on who we're playing, what pitcher we're seeing, how the players are playing. We will have some reserve games at the varsity level on doubleheader days. So for those games, it's usually the starters that don't play or the players that do not start will play that second game. Last year, we had 7 reserve games scheduled, and because of weather, we did not get in any. And we know that hurt some of our players. Hopefully, we get all those in this year. So that is our philosophy, especially at the varsity level. Baseball is a numbers game. So if your son is hitting 100 and his competition at that position is hitting 350, we're going to go with the guy that's hitting 350. Now, it's not always the case. Sometimes we think that the guy that's hitting 100 is going to get out of his slump. We need to give him time to get out of his slump, and then he'll play. Baseball is a numbers game, so we do look at numbers as well as how students practice and how their behavior is. If you have any concerns about playing time, we do have a 24-hour rule. Coaches will not discuss any games or playing time until 24 hours after the game. It just gives you a chance to cool down. I'm a parent. Our coaches are parents. Some of us, we understand that it can be heated after. You're wondering why your son's not playing. Give it 24 hours, and then all we want to do is that you can set up a meeting with your son's coach. The meeting must be attended by your son as well as you and the coach. So if you are a parent of a fresh soft player, you will meet with you, your son, and Coach Lawrence. If you're not satisfied with what comes to that meeting, I will come to the next one and try to talk it out. And if, again, we still can't come to an agreement or you want to talk to Rebecca, our AD, then we can all meet together. It's just our simple chain of command, and we believe that the players should be involved in all meetings that are about them. The last thing about meetings is we will not discuss any other play in any meeting. You wouldn't want your son being brought up in a meeting. So if we are having a meeting, we're only going to talk about your son. Spectator behavior, quick one. Do not talk, yell, embarrass, or harass umpires. Only coaches are allowed to talk to the umpire. We have a huge umpire shortage. There's going to be a lot of new ones, so please be patient with them. They're overworked, and a lot of them are going to be brand new. So that means at the fresh soft level and even the JV level, you're going to have brand new umps. You're not going to have the best umps, so they're going to miss calls. You just have to understand that. The coach will talk to the umpires, not the parents. No parents in the dugout. It's not Little League. Just stay out of the dugout. Let the boys stay together. All right, our favorite word, fundraisers. Yes, we have one. They're critical to Harlem Baseball, the improvement of our facilities, as well as getting new equipment for our players. We're continuously looking to improve our baseball complex and provide our players with the best equipment. So quickly about our fundraiser. It's the same fundraiser we've been using for 7 years. We've raised over $18,000. Each calendar is worth $10, and we draw names for cash prizes. Our goal is for each player to sell 10 of each calendar, a total of 20. That would be bringing in $200 for each player. We have 50 players. That's 10 grand brought in minus expenses. Prizes for meeting throughout selling thresholds. So if you sell 20, 30, 40, and 50, we give you some awesome Harlem Baseball gear. And the top seller in our program gets a pair of my Cubs season tickets to a game in the summer. Calendars will be handed out on March 2nd, that first day of practice, and all calendar money is due on March 11th. If you are a freshman and you're new to this, we'll explain it to your players. If you're a returner, it's the same one. If you sell out of 20 and you need more, turn in that money to your player's coach or to myself, Coach McCloy, and we'll get you more calendars. Again, our top seller is usually around 60 to about 90. So if you're trying to win those Cubs season tickets, you got to get selling. We love this fundraiser because it gives the people that are purchasing it an opportunity to win money. This is what it looks like. This was last year's. So on that Tuesday, March 15th, I will have all the people that purchased calendar 1 put it in a bucket, and I will draw a name. If I draw the name Mike Winters and he wins $20. I will mail him a check at the end of the month, but his name will go back in so he can win multiple times. And every year, at every calendar, we've had somebody win multiple times. We give out $20 4 days a week, and then $25 on Sundays. And then finally, the last day of our fundraising calendar, this one being April 11th, we will have a grand prize for $50, $75, and $100. And we'll do this twice. So lots of opportunities to win money. We think it's a fun fundraiser. We don't just snap raise or just ask people to donate a GoFundMe. We want our players to be able to give something back to those people that are helping us fundraise. It's a great fundraiser. Again, we love it. New things real quick. Our triangle, what we call the triangle between the two fields, has been a muddy mess for probably since the 70s and definitely my 14 years. We have gotten it concreted thanks to Lasher Concrete. They donated their time and effort and work to get us concreted, so it is beautiful back there for you putting your chairs and don't have to worry about mud. That's awesome. Both the varsity field and the JV Frosh field were redone. They were resurfaced, laser graded with new dirt, so they are going to play really well this year. Baseballs are expensive. We've bought dozens and dozens of new baseballs, tees, training bats, more balls. All that money that comes in from fundraising goes right back to the program, and we thank you for it. We're almost done here. Concessions. We do have a concession stand out there in the orange building at our field that will be manned during our games. Once cuts are made and we have rosters, we'll put together a schedule and hand that out. If you're scheduled to work a game and you can't, you just have to reach out to another parent that you may know in the program and ask for help. If you can't find help, you can reach out to me, Coach McCloy, to try to get that covered. That money goes back to Harlem Baseball again through the Harlem Fans Club. The Harlem Fans Club is the best program in our school. We work concessions throughout the whole year. They give back so much to not only the whole school, but to the baseball program. This year alone, through working the concessions, through basketball, volleyball, football, Dvorak, we have given back over $1,000 that went right back to our program to purchase a lot of that equipment. And they also just purchased a new Jugs Light Flight pitch machine with 5 dozen baseballs, which was over $1,000. So that's $2,000 just this year alone, which is even more than that they've given back. So when we put things out there on our social media, we ask for help. We just please try to offer your time the best you can. It seems like it's the same parents every time that respond. We thank them for that, but we just hope that everybody, there are over 50 every year parents or players and their parents that can help out. It could be them, it could be grandparents, it can be anybody over 21 that can help. We just don't want it to be the same parents over and over and over because it becomes a burden on them and they feel like they always have to do it. And we've even had parents who've had their sons graduate 3-4 years ago come back to help. I understand working concessions is not fun. You have your own life, but if you can give up a couple hours once a year, that would be great. Again, there are over 50 people in our program. You shouldn't have to do it more than once every 2 years. All right, there's my little spiel about concessions. I just want us to be able to support Harlem Fans Club because they support us like nobody other, and they are a great program. All right, almost done here. Things you must have prior to Monday, February 27th. All students must have a current physical on file. You need to provide that to the athletic office or upload it onto 8-18. You must register on the Harlem 8-18 website here, this link. You cannot try out without registering and having a physical on file. If your son is a freshman, they have a physical on file because they needed one to come into high school. If your son is a sophomore through senior, make sure it is up to date and it lasts through at least June 1st so they can play the whole year. You'll pay the athletic fee after final cuts and teams are made. A couple miscellaneous things here. There are extra costs for baseball. It's mostly hats. It is a $20 hat to wear to get one of our hats. If you are a returning player and you want to wear the same hat, you don't want a new one, then you won't know anything. If you are a new player and you need our new black hat, that is $20. Or if you're a returning player and want a new one, that is $20. So if you purchase the hat, you will need to pay $20. At all levels, you need to wear your own white pants with black piping, a black belt, black socks, and a black undershirt if you wear one under your jersey. That's what you're responsible for. If you look on our Facebook page, we try to post sales that are on baseball savings. You can get them anywhere, Dick's. Try to find some cheap ones that work for you. At the varsity level, it's a little more expensive. If you're only needing one hat, which all varsity players will at least need the new alternate hat, that's $20. If they need another black one, it is $30 for 2 hats. We do require that they wear a varsity helmet. So if they are new, they will need to purchase our $30 helmet. And all players will have to purchase the alternate jersey, our third jersey with their name on it. The program pays for half of that jersey. So the program will pay for $20. You just owe $20. So if, for example, you are new to varsity and you need both hats, a helmet, and a jersey, it is an extra $80. If you are not new and you only need one hat, it's only going to be $40 for purchasing one hat and alternate jersey. I will let the players know what they owe at the varsity level. And they, too, will also need white pants with black piping, a black belt, socks, and undershirt. If we have extra hats, which we should, you can purchase them for $20. If we have older versions from the years past of our alternate hats, those will be $10. Our schedule is located here in this link. It's on 8-18. Our first game is vastly approaching on March 14th. The NIC 10 starts on April 10th. We play NIC 10 games on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and have non-conference games as well. If we have room to add games, if there's an open date and we can add a game, we will. One thing about the freshman level, out of the NIC 10, there might be 5 teams or programs that field freshman teams. So we will be playing a lot of out-of-conference games. So you'll see in the beginning of the schedule, we are gone a lot on the road. We are playing a lot of non-conference games because we're trying to get games in. Our goal is to get, at the freshman and JV level, 25 to 30 games. At the varsity level, we're trying to play 30 to 35 games. It's spring weather in Northern Illinois, so game times will change a lot. Let's go to this one. Any questions? Social media rules real quick. We'll talk about game times in a second. Please follow us on social media. Facebook posts will mostly be about varsity because Coach McCoy runs it. The lower levels have their own, so if you need to get anything from them, they will post it there. The main thing about social media is if you have nothing nice to say, just don't post it. All right? Let's just live in a happy world. Be nice to everybody. The link to our Facebook page. This is crucial if you are on Facebook or on Twitter. That is how we let information know about day of games. Again, the weather is crazy in Northern Illinois, so we will make the determination by as close to 1 o'clock as we can to see if we're going to play. If we have to change venue or we have to cancel games, we'll make that post on our social media, the Twitter and Facebook. So pay attention to that. Please do not call up to the school at 10 o'clock asking if the game is on. The head coach, make the decision if the game is on. So we will make that by 1 o'clock. If there's a chance to play, we will wait and wait and wait. Sometimes the field dries up between 1 and 4 o'clock. We don't want to make any decisions early in the morning. So, again, the Northern Illinois weather stinks. Hopefully it can get better. Let's go back to this one, Harlem Baseball gear. The shop that we had in November will be reopened on the day of tryouts and close a week later. So if you missed out on the winter order, we will have that posted on social media. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, scott.mccloy@harlem122.org. You can ask questions through the Facebook link there. We're excited about tryouts starting here in a little over a week. If I missed anything or if you have any questions, again, please reach out to me through email or Facebook. All right, let's have a great season.